Welcome to Stage 12 of Ghost Babel, the epic confrontation with Metal Gear itself. So, there's three parts to this stage. There's the resource gathering, there's the legs that we have to blow up, and then the body. First, let's talk about resource management. So, if you're new to the game, just pick everything up. Pick up these grenades, these rations, this C4 pack, and these grenades. Then you're gonna run over here, upright, pick up these grenades, pick up this Nikita ammo, up left, and pick up the grenades, and swap to C4. And then you'll go into the fight. Now, the way it ends up is if you've played perfectly up until this point, following my route where you use up 4 grenades throughout the run, 1 for damage boosting in stage 5, 2 for generators in stage 8, and then the Nikita skip in stage 8, you will lose 4 grenades. But if all the bosses are played perfectly, you picked up all the grenades up until this point, you'll have 40 grenades, which is the maximum if you pick up all the grenades during the resource gathering part of this stage. And the reason why you'd want to do this is because the body of Metal Gear is random, so you may need a lot of grenades, you may need the minimum amount of grenades. If you're new, just pick them all up. So chances are you may have missed some grenades on the helicopter or on Slasher Hawk, and maybe you need more. That's all right. But just be aware that picking all the resources up is pretty costly. It takes about 60.5 seconds. Now you could just run down here, pick up these grenades, then run up here, pick up these grenades, and that would save you a couple seconds. You could also run directly up like this and only pick up 2 packs of grenades. That's the fastest, but pretty risky. And you could, and this is the method I recommend in general if you're trying to play it risky, pick up this pack of grenades, then go and pick up this pack of grenades, so then you'll have 3. Choice is yours. However, if you're new to the game, or you missed a lot of throws in the helicopter fight or something like that happened, pick all this up. The method where you only pick up the top left grenades and then move on saves you about 8 seconds over picking up all the resources. So you pick up the Nikita ammo, run over here, and pick up these grenades. So I have 40. Swap to your C4. Now let's talk about the second part of the stage, the legs. So the way the legs work, Metal Gear will be walking towards you, and we're going to have to blow up the legs. So it takes 6 hits to destroy the legs. And you can either use C4 or landmines. I'm going to at first show the easiest method for this fight. But then after that, I will show a more advanced technique that saves a little bit of time. At the start of the fight, you should always hold right and then lay down a C4. The timing's a little bit precise to get this correct. You don't want to plant too early, or else the leg will keep on floating, the shadow. So you want to move a few steps forward, like that, and then run around the leg like that. Alright, so now we're into the meat and potatoes of the fight. Safest strat to do is run along the southern edge of the screen and plant bombs accordingly. And the way the shadow works is that it'll stand in place once you're standing in place. And if you're, generally speaking, you want to be on the lower half of the screen. Don't be up here, because otherwise you could get burned. And trying to lay down a C4 here is pretty risky. And in general, he's not really interested in dropping the leg when you're right at the top of the screen, so don't do that. We always want to be on the lower half of the screen. Drop the C4. You can run diagonally there to avoid that leg, but it's kind of precise. It's safer to hold left, then turn around the leg. So we just wait for the leg to go down. See, I'm timing out my plants depending on where the shadows is and the travel distance. It's kind of hard to really put into words, but if you pay attention visually, you'll kind of see why I'm timing my plants the way I am. And on the final one, you know, try to explode it as soon as possible, but not too soon. And then you miss it. That's the safest method. It's really simple. You just roll on this southern edge and plant. If you plant correctly, the foot will drop quickly. But if you plant really slow, like you just keep on running along the edge, the shadow is probably going to just run like that. And then you can just plant and wait as well. Now let's show a more advanced method. This advanced method involves planting the C4 more in the middle of the road so that the travel distance of the shadow is minimized. But you have to be a bit more precise in your timing, or else you might be wasting time over the other method. So about right here, you stop. And I kind of like to stutter step. And just wait in position for the leg to actually drop, because if you move too soon, see that adjustment? Now, since I was using C4 and the C4 was still on screen, I could still blow up the leg, but I got lucky. Sometimes that's not going to happen, so don't move out of the way too soon, or else that could happen. And the leg will troll you like that. Okay? So, again, this method is really based on your position relative to the shadow and, of course, the position on screen that you're at. And it saves some time over the other method because of the shadow travel time. As you see, the shadow does increase in size when it's dropping. But you kind of wait like, you know, a second or so, and then you move. That's about roughly what you want to do. Now, if you don't pick up C4 in this stage, you probably won't have enough C4 to get through this, unless you picked up C4 another pack earlier in the run, or you use the C4 to do the Nikita skip in stage 11 instead of using or use Nikita instead of the C4. But in the case that you do need to use landmines, here's how to use them. They're essentially just it's just a more precise version of C4 because they're proxy. They're proxy mines. You can't activate them with a switch. So you can do the same method of running along the southern edge. Like so. But any mistakes here are way more costly because if the shadow adjusts at all, that mine is not going to go off. See? And you can also turn, like you could bait the leg into dropping on you and then plant as the foot's coming down, but you might get hurt that way. Oh, and it's also important, this might be kind of obvious, but make sure to stay on the side where the shadow is. So it's always, you know, alternating. Now, unless you miss C4s, you really only should need to use one landmine during this part. And show. You could also do it like that, but you're probably going to take damage. So, just get used to planning the mines and planning the C4. This part of the fight is really just based on practice and getting used to how the shadow travels, how far you need to move down, when to plant, when to start moving again, etc. So let's go into the second phase of the fight, taking out Metal Gear's body. Alright, so I'm going to go bit by bit here between all the parts of the body you can damage. So, as an overview, Metal Gear Gander's body has 96 health. When you do damage to these machine guns, the things that are circled right now, these are the machine guns, it does 1 damage. Okay, so you take 1 damage off that 96 total. And you can either use grenades or you can use Nikita missiles. You'll be doing a lot of damage to these machine guns throughout the fight. These are the shoulder turrets, or upper cannons as the game calls them. So these things are interesting. When you have to use Nikitas to destroy these, they take 4 hits to destroy. The first 3 hits take 3 HP off of Metal Gear. If you destroy him, that does 8. So that is 17 damage per turret. So you can actually do 34 damage if you destroy both. They have to be destroyed with Nikitas. And one thing you'll notice in the fight is that these cannons can actually fly off and be turrets floating around the arena and shoot bullets at you. And when this happens, obviously they can't be on the shoulder where they're vulnerable. They're firing at you, which is bad luck. You'll have to just keep on spamming at the machine guns. And that right there is the missile launcher, the missile pack on the rear. Now, if you do damage to that, it'll do 6 HP. You'll have to shoot a Nikita into the slot, either slot. You can actually destroy the missile launcher, but it's very rare. You'd have to get a missile launcher phase multiple times, which is not likely. Usually you would only get at max 2 chances to do damage to the missile launcher. And preferably we never even see the missile launcher attack us, but it does do the most amount of damage on its own out of all the elements on Metal Gear's body, besides the final hit on the upper cannons, aka the shoulder turrets. So, a combination of damage to all 3 of these elements needs to add up to, I think it's 68, 67. You have to get to 31 HP. So you have to do enough damage to get to 31 HP to end up in the final phase of the fight. And that is the flamethrower phase. And what this ends up meaning, since the flamethrower phase has 31 HP and you do 4 damage to the flamethrower and you can only use grenades on the flamethrower, you need at least 8 grenades to finish stage 12 and defeat Metal Gear. And as we were talking about earlier with the grenade resource management, you're going to need a certain number of grenades. That would be 27 on the most ideal of circumstances to finish this fight. Like I said, it's better to have somewhere in the 30s, 40 max, because of that. Alright, so enough of the information dump. Let's actually get into the fight proper. So, right at the start, I like to go over to this side, and you want to run up along this green box to this part of Metal Gear, and then you can just start spamming grenades. As you see, the turrets are flying, and this isn't good, because all we can do now is spam throw grenades. Once they disappear, we can swap to Nikita and fire Nikita when the cannon shows up. Now, important to note that you don't want to try to swap your weapon while the camera is still hovering over on this side. You have to wait until it shifts to go back to grenades. And there's a certain part in the grenades trajectory that you also can't swap. So you just keep on swapping back and forth like this. Once the cannon is destroyed, I like going over to the other side. We just got missile phase. So the missiles are pretty dangerous. Their hitbox isn't big. Like, you can avoid them pretty easily by just tapping up or tapping down, depending on where Snake is relative to the missile. But they come through very fast, and you're going to have to pay very close attention to the radar to know where they're coming from. While they're coming, you can fire at the machine gun. You can't hit the missile pack, the missile launcher, on the first go because of the cutscene, so you just have to wait it out. So just use up your Nikitas. So on this side, you want to stand over here. I'll show where you want to be on the other side to fire the Nikita. It is... want to fire like this. I actually got it again. That's convenient. So you want to shoot through that piece of blue rubble or the this lane over here. Wow, okay. This is not common. I mean, it does a lot of damage, but it's also kind of a slow attack. So we have definitely done enough damage to start the final phase of the fight. You can notice by the suckers flashing, the machine guns. And now the flamethrower is going to start attacking us. Now you could, like, dodge this fire, like so, and, like, kind of run in, throw a grenade, run out, kind of like that. But this isn't necessary on normal since we have rations. You should have rations at this point. So just stand in front of it and throw. Now you can spam the grenades, but for some reason, sometimes, like, the iframes are weird and they won't connect. So if you want to just pace out your throws, just wait until the grenade has made contact with the flamethrower and then throw, so you don't accidentally waste grenades. So I'm going to show important little detail. I'm just going to throw out all my grenades. So let's say you run out of grenades. Grenades could spawn either over here. See if I can show that. Or they'll spawn over here. Nikita also will spawn on this side as well. And if you're seeing one spot, it's going to be the other spot. Or not. Wow. This is the kind of thing that's really annoying with having to pick up grenades in this fight, because if it spawns like that, like it literally spawns where you're standing, you go all the way over and you don't see the spot, you're going to have to go all the way across. That takes a lot of time. So yeah, as you can see, having to pick up grenades in this fight is not fun. That's why we try to route out all of our grenade pickups throughout the run, because it all culminates on this stage. All our grenades saved. And when Metal Gear is getting destroyed, you should swap to whatever gun you have for the final stage in the game. Now, I don't think I actually showed the opposite side, but that was just because I never got over there, really. As far as how to set yourself up, you're just getting a bunch of missile phases. But let's say you want to go over here. You want to go into this corner and fire. Now you can like move a little bit forward if you want, but just get into the corner. That's all you really got to do. Get into the corner of this spot of the area. Spam grenades if the turrets are being mean and floating around. Now, you could throw chaff in this fight to disable the turrets, but it's not worth it because then you can't use Nikita, and Nikita is useful, so don't do that. And unfortunately, I really don't see a way to actually hit the missile pack on the first scene because of the cutscene, unfortunately. If it is possible, it's extremely precise. But yeah, whether or not you actually get these turrets flying around is not in your control. Now, if you're, like, running out of ammo, just pace out your shots a little bit, hoping you get good luck, and that the shoulder cannons come up. Because, again, having to wait out and look for ammo is really annoying. And just pace out your throws and take it out. Alright, so let's do a demo run, tying it all together. This is not the fastest thing to do, picking up all this stuff, but it's the safest thing to do. You don't really need the C4, it's a courtesy. It just makes dealing with the legs a little bit easier. But under the ideal resource management route, the optimal resource management route, you would not pick up those C4 and you will have to use at least a landmine. At least a landmine. Could be more if you mess up. So once you get to the top of the screen, make sure you have your C4 out. Get your rations out. Start playing those C4. I'll show the harder route here. Again, pay attention to the shadow and your position relative to it. And I'll finish with the landmine for show. If it adjusts like that, don't let the leg trick you. Go over there, show them who's boss, plant another landmine. Take the damage, it's fine. You have rations. And we gotta get to 31 HP. It's about a third of the health bar. I always go right first. Get into position along the green box. I got turrets, which is not good. Once they fly off, we're back to potential good luck. Again, we want to see these shoulder cannons pop up as much as possible, which this one is being pretty nice to me. That's very, very good. And while we wait, just spam your grenades. Now that we're on the 4th, we can go over to this side. And we got the missile barrage. Pay attention to the radar if you can. Okay, we got the barrage again. Move over here. Fire that Nikita right into the box. And just keep on spamming. And that should be enough damage. Yes. So now we get over here. Equip our grenades. See how many extra grenades I have? Since I have so many extras, I'll just spam. But as you can see, 40 is being very, very, very generous. If the RNG isn't horrible to you, you probably won't need that many. And a sub 3 is a good time to aim for on stage 12. So thanks for watching. I'll see you on the final stage, stage 13.